So, what we're doing now is we're going to be gluing some styrofoam pieces I've just cut off the box to create a bit of height. So what we're eventually going to have is a helicopter trapped in some trees here. So the dowels are going to be our trees, because to make it to scale, given that the action is about this high, to actually make trees to scale would be massive and impractical. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of infer trees by using this as a base, build up over it and sort of cut off at about when the dowel ends to create like basically the big tree trunk. And then tangled near two tree trunks tangled up in some vines, we're going to have this massive helicopter sort of, we'll try and sort of make it look suspended, but I don't know if we'll be able to pull that off or not, but it'll sort of be in this quadrant. So we're going to create some height here and have our probably the two biggest trees sort of up here. And then the rest, we've got two more here, and I'll just play it by ear. So this is to make it a bit more visually interesting than just to sort of have it flat. So once again, just liquid nails. Because this isn't as sort of pivotal as the base, you don't really need to worry as much. If it comes off, you can easily stick it back on again, whereas it was a bit more important that the base stayed on. So once again, my motto is you can never use too much liquid nails at this stage. Worst case scenario, some of this pops out the side, which is fine. We can cover that up later with the sand and paint. But unfortunately others dried up a little bit, so it's a bit thick and bloggy. There we go. It's also really important to sort of try and get as close to your edges as you can. Alright, there's one. And of course you want to push it down really hard because pressure is really important to get this to set. There we go. So I've used a bit much, so it just comes out the side. But as I said, that's really easy to cover up later, so nothing to be worried about. So now, just because we've got this height difference here, I'm actually going to put this one overlapping, and then I'll just wedge some styrofoam underneath. Just because otherwise it would kind of ignore this part. It seems like it's off the rest of the board. Wedge that in, so it's a little bit thick, so we'll just cut it in half. Now once again, if you can get your hands on proper insulation foam, I would recommend it, just because styrofoam is a bit tricky and messy to work with. But once again, if styrofoam's all you have access to, then you can make it work as well. There. Put that one in there. Once again, it's all pretty rough at this stage because when we texture it and come in with the spack filler as well, we'll sort of begin to neaten it all up. So I'm going to put this one kind of here. So we don't need too much height really, we don't need to go overboard, but just enough to keep things interesting. There we go. Here we go. So we just want this off cut again, so I'll shove this one. There we go. Underneath, nice and snug. there we go. So next time, or the next step after this, once again we're going to give it sort of 24 hours to set properly, is going to be sort of carving it up a little bit. So we'll carve holes to pop the trees in, and then on top of that we might sort of carve some indentations, maybe something that resembles a riverbed, and once again it'll all be very rough, but it'll begin to sort of make it more texturally interesting and more sort of visually interesting, adding some more height and depth to it rather than just sort of all flat with the lumps on it. So that'll be next time.